What's up everybody, my name is Estics, and if you're anything like me, you've been waiting for the perfect Sasperling commander to drop, and today we finally got one. Shroofus the Sproutsire. Now the reason I chose Shroofus for this next build is because he reads Sasperling, which is really important. He also has Trample. Whenever a Sasperling you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 green sapling creature token. So this build is going to be reliant on pumping your Sasperlings. They are mono green, which means that you can pump these creatures to be absolutely insane. So let's start cultivating our power with Orny Tumblewag. Now Orny Tumblewag is actually pretty good because it gives a creature a +1/+1 counter at the beginning of your combat. And then he can be saddled for 2, and whenever he attacks, you get to double a 1/1 counter on target creature. That means if you're attacking with your commander and you double up your counters on him and he hits, then you make double the amount of tokens you were gonna make before, along with Titanic Growth and other pump spells like this that are also gonna get you extra damage as you go. Then you can use something like Ivy Lane Denizen. Now the reason I choose a Ivy Lane Denizen is every time Sasperling is gonna enter onto your side of the battlefield, you're gonna get a +1/+1 counter. And the reason that you want to have this is because you can either pump a token or your commander to do a lot of damage for one swing, along with Gigantoform, which you can enchant your creature and he has a base power of 8/8. So instead of pumping, you actually just give him a stronger base power, and then all the pump on top of him already is going to give you more damage coming in. And then I have Crotochet of Strength. Crotochet of Strength reads, enchanted creature you control. Whenever Crotochet of Strength enters, you may have enchanted creature fight a target creature your opponent controls, and it has +1 and Trample. So this is just another trampler to put on your Sasperlings, but it also gives you a nice little removal. So you're gonna put this on a Sasperling to begin with, so why not also remove stuff as you go? That's just double utility for a card. Now we're gonna be harvesting an army, starting off with Utopia Mycon, which reads, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on Utopia Mycon. Remove 3 spore counters, create a 1/1 green Sasperling. Also, sacrifice a Sasperling, add a mana of any color. So this is good for like ramping your deck. Whenever you use him, you can use the spore counter stuff, which is actually going to be really important later on. That's why you're going to see a lot of creatures in here with spore counters that make Sasperlings. So that's good. That's going to be passive throughout the game. But we also have, whenever you sacrifice it, you get to create a mana of any color, which means that the ramp is going to be really good in this deck. Next, I have Vistaspore Thallid. Now, the reason I have him on the battlefield is because at the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter. We all know the spore counters. And then remove 3, create a green Sasperling token. Pretty good. But also, sacrifice a Sasperling, target creature gains haste until end of turn. Now this is going to be pretty good if you have something that's coming down and you really want to swing in with a token that you just made or whatever. Just using this can give a huge creature that you control a way to get in the same time that they come down. And then I have Exponential Growth, which can double your tokens, but it can also double your tokens. And with Utopia Mycon, you can still pay for extra counters as you go, and you get those back anyway. So using it as fuel to get more stuff out, maybe even put some counters from Ivy Lane Denizen on your commander. And also I have Fertile Imagination. Now Fertile Imagination is really good because you get to choose a card type, and target opponent repeals their hand, and then put 2 1/1 green Sasperling tokens into the battlefield for each chosen type. So let's say you're playing like a Storm player and you have a certain type in mind that you want to put on there. You say that type because they've been playing it all game, and that card type is now going to be making you a bunch of different Sasperlings too, which also is a lot of triggers to come onto the battlefield whenever you're just dropping Sasperlings down. And then I have Fungal Sprouting, which reads, create a X 1/1 green Sasperling tokens where X is the greatest power amongst creatures you control. Go ahead and double them up as you attack. So you attack, you hit, and then you create a bunch, and then you just put this down and you get to double them. So that's really good. And now let's get into the fertilizer, just in case that you need to, this is kind of like the nitty gritty stuff and the micromanaging of your, and these are also going to be alternate win conditions. So definitely keep these in mind. Starting off with Adaptive Spore Singer / Bloom Hulk, which are really good for proliferating. Now, the reason you want to proliferate with this deck is because you're going to be putting counters on every single creature almost, and if you put a counter on a creature, don't you want to have a counter on every other creature, just the same one? And it also really fits into this deck. Next we have a Bramble Elemental. Now, I was talking about pump spells earlier in the build, but we also had stuff like Gigantiform. Now, Gigantiform is an enchantment. Whenever you're doing all of this stuff, you can probably give stuff like Bramble Elemental enchantments as you go, and honestly you can use him as kind of a beater card, but he's going to be making you tokens as you put stuff onto him, specifically auras. And then you have Curubus. Now, this card is actually really good because he allows you to remove a 1/1 counter from him, and you get to prevent all damage dealt to creatures with 1/1 counters. So this is going to be good because you're going to be proliferating all of your creatures and getting more counters for everything. And then you have Hinder Vines, which prevents all creatures with 1/1 counters from being dealt damage, and it's a sorcery. So if you throw all of your creatures out and they have something that could stop it, you can now attack and not have to worry about any of those creatures killing anything that you have because of the preventing all damage. But that doesn't mean that damage isn't prevented to them. If they have no counters on them, they're going to still deal damage. And that's just like a smart way to board wipe without board wiping. Last but not least, we have Predatory Urge. Now, Predatory Urge is actually really important because it reads enchant creature. Enchant creature has tap, deals damage equal to its power to target creature. That creature deals damage equal to its power to this creature. So that's good. That's just fighting. So you can put this on one of your creatures and you could just kind of fight them back and forth. Finally, let's get into our bonus cards. Now, the bonus cards for this deck are actually really weird and spicy, but I've been playing Sasplinks for a while now, and I've been trying to build a deck that is kind of like this one, but there's no way of doing it until now. So this is fun. First, we have Life and Limb, but also usually you would use him with Spore Mound, but not with this deck. This deck is actually going to be used with Nissa, who shakes the world, which will actually turn all of your lands indestructible. With Life and Limb, you turn them all into mana. So now that you're using all of this for mana, you can pump other stuff with like XX spells and stuff like that into a nice little indestructible combo, which you can then attack with all of your sweet creatures and lands, since you only have green lands in this deck. Now, the final one that I want to put out here, and this is something that I was like really racking my brain about because it's such a strong card and I don't want really anyone to know about it because I like to just drop it onto the battlefield and have fun with it. But Myocloth. Now, Myocloth is a really good one because it has Devour 2. So whenever you sacrifice a creature, it puts 2 1/1 counters on. It puts 2 Devour counters on him. And this means that he creates 2 Sasperlings. So basically, you can sacrifice all of your Sasperlings and have him onto the battlefield as long as you are confident that they are not going to remove him. Do not let him get you removed. But you drop him onto the battlefield and you get all of those back ×2 next turn. So basically, you're doubling your tokens and the tokens you want. They're Sasperling. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this commander, and I really enjoyed this commander, so I hope that you guys don't buy him too much, but I hope you guys do enjoy him. And if you do buy him, I hope you enjoy him, and I hope you use this build to kind of give yourself a head start on what Sasperlings want, what do they need. But until then, check out one of my old builds. This one's really good. I've played it. Thank you guys for watching, and happy casting.